I'm honored to be here and to speak at this occasion. I don't particularly care for doing this, but I'll do it for Nical's family and for Nical. I probably knew Nical better than most of my siblings, simply because we were close in age. And when I was, one of my first memories, I guess, was we had a pet named Oliver. It was a dog, a Cocker Spaniel dog, and it was Nical's dog. And that dog followed us everywhere we went, especially Nical. And I remember after we moved from the Boise area over to Pendleton, not long after we moved there, Nical acquired a paper route, and soon Oliver was killed. It was a car hit Oliver on the paper route, and I didn't realize how sad somebody could be, but that really affected Nical for a long time. We shared a bedroom together, and we had a lot of fun with that. He was a good teacher to me. Both good things and some things not so good. Was one time we were messing around in the backyard, and he wanted to show me a trick he learned, how to overcome the forces of nature with centrifugal force. And he found an old paint can, and it was about half full of white paint. And so we were in the backyard, and he took the lid off and was going around and around. And I was so amazed. And so it came my turn, but he put the lid on. He says, "You got to try it with the lid on first, because Dad will be home soon." So we put the lid on and pounded it down, and around I went, and I was thinking, okay, I'm ready to take the lid off, when it was up in the air, the handle came off, and it launched and made quite a visible mess and in the backyard. So, and I'm telling you this because I expected him to run and leave me to take care of my problem. But he stuck with me, and we went to work on that. We had about 2 hours, and we started pulling up grass, and the mess got a little worse first, and finally we got it to the point where it was just a big blob. And we went and we had this tire that was hooked to a tetherball pole, and we went and rolled that out into the lawn, which it wasn't supposed to be on the lawn unless we were using it. But we rolled it out on the lawn thinking that it would be better to be scolded for that than it would be for doing something like we did. And so we covered it up and then waited, and we made it. And that was I really appreciate it. I owed to him. And he reminded me of that quite a bit. And I think kind of from that point on, he did things to make sure that I always owed him. And so he was clever, very clever, and I was never that clever. I really looked up to Nical. My dad said to me one time, because Nical was hard for a parent, and visibly hard. And one time my dad got mad at me for something. He says, "You're going to be just like Nical." And I thought it was a compliment. And so anyway, we shared this bedroom, and one night I was sleeping. I had the top bunk and he had the bottom bunk, and I heard him talking. I thought, well, Nical's talking in his sleep. This is interesting. And I leaned over and looked at him, and he had a little light down there and a cover over the bed, and he was talking on a telephone. And I thought, oh yeah, sure. And he handed me the phone, and I think it was Renee. But anyway, somebody was on the other line, and I couldn't believe it. And what he had done is he found this phone somewhere. I don't know where he got it, I don't remember. And he wired down through the wall into our bedroom and hooked it up, and we could listen to Mom and Dad talk on the phone. We could listen to the sisters talk to their boyfriends. And I was sworn to secrecy, of course. And I don't remember ever having any repercussions from that. Until later in life, everything catches up with you, but that's another day. Another thing that he did, we had a TV, didn't often have one, but we had one, and it didn't last very long, it broke. We all enjoyed sitting around watching Gunsmoke, and even, this is the nice thing, is that our dad would even sit down with us and watch Gunsmoke, and that was just, it was surprising and it was fun. And so the TV broke, and he said, okay, that's it, we're not getting it fixed. We tried to persuade him that we could get that TV fixed, but he didn't want to get the TV fixed. He said, you need to do homework. And so that's when we started doing homework. And before long, one time when the parents were gone to conference, everything was always when they went to conference in Salt Lake City, Nical figured out how to make that TV work. And then we were sworn to secrecy. And we only did it, watched it when Dad was gone first, and then Mom found out, and she watched it. And then one time, Dad came in unexpectedly, and there we were, and caught dead to rights. It was over. And he looked around, and he sat down and watched TV with us, and that's kind of all there was to it. But Nical could get away with things. He had a personality that I never had, that he was able to convince Mom and Dad of things I couldn't. I just didn't have it. And so when I was, where was I? I think I was in the 7th or the 8th grade, and Nical was in high school, and and this is another time when he saved me. I was where I wasn't supposed to be at the school. I was in the basement, and a friend of mine who always got me in trouble had persuaded me to go in the basement with him, and there was a vent and there was a classroom, and the math teacher was talking to the students, and it was and so we started making strange noises, interrupting the class. And this apparently, it wasn't the first time the students had found that alleyway into that part of the building, and so he, without letting us know, we kept it up, and he went over and kind of got on the phone and called somebody and said, code 3, whatever. And before we knew it, we were surrounded and taken to the principal's office, and I had just been put on probation in the school for being with this kid another time. And I was very nervous because my dad's number, he had 2 phone numbers, work and home, and both were on speed dial if they had it. Maybe because my sister had preceded me just a few years before, and he probably called to say what a good girl she was. Good grade she was getting. But anyway, that was Wanda. And, but anyway, he knew the number and got me in the office, and I sat there, and he picked up the phone begin to dial. And I thought, well, if he's dialing home, nobody's going to be home because Mom's working. And so I thought, well, but he's got my dad's other number. And all of a sudden, somebody says, hello? And it was a man's voice. And I was devastated. And the principal began to discuss with the person on the other line, whom I assumed was my dad, the situation. And I knew that, well, my parents used to say things like, you're going to wish you were never born. and I was wishing that. All of a sudden, I could hear the conversation because I was sitting right up to the desk. And I heard somebody say something like, if you've got a problem in the school, why don't you take care of the problem in the school? And don't bother me again. And wow, prayer works. When I got home, Nical couldn't wait to tell me what he'd done for me. Well, I owe Nical still. He told me this recently. We had kind of this thing going on over the years. I was invited to not live at home when I was 17. And I lived with friends for a month or two. And we had been the janitor of a church. Our family had taken that responsibility. And so I had learned several ways to get into the church without keys. And so then they had a shower downstairs, and so I was living in the basement of the church part of the time. But it was getting old, and I was getting hungry. And so Nical found me and said, your mom and dad are worried about you, and he invited me to come live with him. And I was so excited, and I did. And after a few days, he sat me down and explained that there were rules, and that surprised me. He sounded like my father, and I was not excited about that. But I went for a while without paying rent, and that cost me a guitar when I went in the Army. And I loaned it to him while I went in the Army, and then when I got out, he said, you owed it to me, and I don't have it anymore. So anyway, back and forth we went, but he taught me several things while we were living there at the old Cheney place, I guess it was, in Pendleton, a little farmhouse that they had rented. And lived there when Ariana was just a baby, and she was so cute and fun. That was a fun time. And by the way, Ariana, I taught Nical that song. He nicknamed me Arlo, and that's what I was known for through school. And but I guess I'm going too long. But I've always respected and loved Nical. I helped him get work one time in Utah, and he came and lived in Utah and stayed with us for a while, and then got a place. And we got acquainted several different times throughout our lives, and talked to him just a couple of weeks on his birthday, just the day after his birthday. We had a nice conversation. Had him in our home not too long before that, and this has just been kind of a surprise to me. This is not what I was expecting. I love Nical, and I owe him. That's foolishness. Anyway, when I was drafted in the Army. Our group of friends were doing some active protesting against the war. We thought we were smart, and some of my friends were going to Canada, and it was a scary time during Vietnam, right at the end of the Vietnam era. And I mentioned that I had been thinking that I wasn't going to go. And he set me down. And he changed my mind. I've always been grateful for the things that he taught me. Because he was a little radical, and he was a little crazy, but he knew where his blessings came from. And it was important for me, for him, for me to serve, even though he wasn't going to go. And then when I went to serve a mission, he, again, we had a good visit. And he said, I wished I could have gone. He said, you've got to do this. He proved great encouragement to me. Many things change people's lives. And I have to say that he changed my life for the better. And I'm sure from everyone that's here that's been affected by his life, you have your own special times and stories. He was a unique person. I think Lyle said something about him being, he was a legend. And he was his own person. He was a legend. And when I saw him here today, he looked very handsome, and he looked the way he was particular about the way he looked, his way, and we had a lot of fun with that. So I just want to say that I appreciate his life, how it had touched me, and it helps me to realize I have another brother who sacrificed for me, and he and I both know that. We love the Savior. We know that we'll see each other again, and hopefully it's not going to be too soon, but nevertheless, I know that he'll be there to greet me. And I say these things in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.